Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. I hope audio and video is working fine and you guys can hear me. Audio and video is working. I'm waiting for incognito window to give audio back. Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Unfortunately, I think I have set it to speakers. My bad. My bad. If any of you are there, you can just send a 100% symbol to verify. Just give me one minor moment for me to quantify. God damn it. Okay. Yep. Okay, audio has been changed. Things should be just fine by now. Okay, so I'm assuming everything is working. Audio and video is just fine. So right now we're gonna talk about integrated flight test number 6, which went basically boom. Now here's the deal. Everything in the rocket worked flawlessly. There was not a single failure in the rocket. However, the tower malfunctioned. That's why there was no catch attempt. And yes, it would have been a god tier epic if SpaceX would have been just like, yeah, we captured a rocket and then we did it second time, so there was no beginner's luck. Now people will say there was a beginner's luck. However, let this be very clear. I do expect them to sort this out in 3 or 4 tries. It's a complex thing, but they should be able to sort it out. Now, what exactly did happen? I am shocked that you believe in Mahabharata despite being an atheist. See, it's not about believing. Mahabharata is a part of Indian history. It did happen. It's just that it's basically think in this way. Story were there, characters were there. All those data points are real. It's just that it has become glorified into the epics. It has happens to almost all cultures. Whereas like you have something and when a story is being told generation over generation, it becomes ingrained into the society. And then there, bit of, polish to it has been done. It's a common thing. It's a very common thing, and given the fact almost everything else tracks location names and lineages, procedure, protocols, way too many things line up. So it did happen. Question is the exaggeration part of it, so to say. So did it happen? Absolutely, that's a known fact for India. It's just that how precisely far back, how much was the devastation? Like again, we know the biological devastation was huge. That can be seen in India's population record. However, the magical, basically assume entire Mahabharata did happen, everything precisely. It's just that remove all the magical component. Like assume it's just a regional war. Not regional, I would say. It would be more of like a multi-kingdom war, so to say, of that time. So yes, it did happen. Yeah. As to what happened in terms of my apologies, I've been really under the weather. Yes, I'm taking medication, but things are things are taking a turn for the worse, so to say. Yeah, so in IFT6, what most likely happened is when the rocket was going up, the plume kind of interacted unplanned way to the tower head, so to say. Now you have to understand, whenever you're talking about GPS, there are 2 classes of GPS. One, you have GPS, just GPS, normal GPS. It's receiving signal from the basically satellites, and that's it. Now on top of that, there is one variation where you can have a base station nearby, and that allows you to improve. Why not live stream on SpaceX launch by you? Well, again, if you know about my location, you know the timing was in early morning when the launch, basically IFT number 5 was on a right time. I did do a live stream. Heck, I did a simultaneous live stream. I was simultaneously live on Instagram and on basically YouTube, so to say. So that can be done. It's just that on 3 a.m. in the early morning, I'm like, yeah, that's pushing it. And again, if I was healthy and everything was just fine and dandy, I may have tried it. But nature has been I have a plan and nature has its own plan, so something like that happened. So yeah, so the base station that basically receives the signal from GPS and course corrects the timing signal. Basically, the effect of weather is cancelled by a base station. So if you have a very high precision base station, but base station cannot be mobile, it cannot move. So base station was on the tower, and again the idea is it has a bubble, basically a sphere. In that sphere, generally the sphere is supposed to be around 1 kilometer minimum. In that sphere, if you have a GPS receiver that is receiving its timing calibration, it would be far more precise. That's how they can get that pins to line up that precisely. precisely. It can be done. It is a normal thing in basically construction industry and all that. So how the heck you can precisely lay down bricks and lay down pillar, cement foundation, all that can be done. It's a common thing, but you do need base station to improve the precision of normal GPS. So that thing poofed. Basically the tower was like this and then it went poof. So something bad happened. Now again, was it an electrical failure? Was it something like, hey, I cannot guarantee the calibration, or something happened? And then computer directly talked and it's like, bro, me not good. So me not good signal happened very early on. And then it's like, okay, abort. Now, despite that, everything else worked flawlessly. Even the re-entry, because I think this is the final time they have shown that their model analysis of re-entry is damn accurate. It's damn accurate. Whereas like they are removing things. You have to understand, rocket does not have as much buffer as other things. For example, a building could be made 4 times stronger than what it needs to be. Rocket does not have that luxury. Rocket needs to be just a bit stronger. Like if you need 1x to actually send stuff to space, you will make it, let's say, barely 1.1x. You do not have the luxury of mass where you can add a lot of structures to, like, okay, it's a robust rocket. You can't do that. So they have to be very frugal with the tonnage. So you do want to push your stuff to almost breaking limit. Now, best way to refine a hardware model, it's very simple. It's just test the damn thing. Run a simulation model, test the damn thing, and then figure out which simulation algorithm was the closest. Then you have a feedback loop, refine the algorithms that gave you the best result. Now refine, have multiple options, do it again, and then find out. So you do it 3-4 times, and voila, you will have a model, so to say. Whereas like, no, we are saying the heat will happen like this, it will happen like this. Now, it has been done in car industry, it has been done in aeronautical industry. It's a common thing where you have like a feedback loop to refine the models, so to say. So that same thing has been done with that. So this time is the first time they have removed tiles. They did not have the current generation or even the latest generation of tiles possible, and yet they re-entried, and the only thing was there was a bit of tip damage. There was no hot air blowing through. And be mindful, this is an old design. This is not the Mark II design where they have canards being moved forward, move backwards. So basically shoulder being like this, shoulder is far behind. So it's going inside the shock cone, so to say. All of that. Basically, that means they got it. This basically IFT6 is the closest they can say, like, we got this, man. We got this. Meaning, if we say that, you know, this is gonna happen like this, it will happen like this, meaning they are very close. And again, in terms of landing accuracy, be mindful, this is landing with a weaker Mark II engine. They have better Mark III engine, and Mark III engine will have a lot of effects. For example, if it has a bit more oomph and it is a bit lighter, it can do much more more powerful decel burn, meaning when it's deorbiting, it can remove a lot of space just by using energy efficiently, as in like a propellant more efficiently. And it's like whoosh, it's a better brake, and then you can reduce the joules that your atmosphere has to leach away. So all these things show that this project is working as expected, so to say. Basically, at this point in time, IFT6 was a very precise moment where it's like, no, I think we got it. We got it. Like this gave a vibe that, you know, we got it. We know what we are doing. It's gonna take a while. Let me be very goddamn clear. Like, I do not expect them to have full reusability by 2025. I do expect them to launch payload by 2025, but I do not expect them to like, oh, we cached the booster and we are launching it in 1 hour. Yeah, that will take some time. Let that be very clear. That's gonna take some sweet time. But they got it, so to say. They got it. Almost all warrior gene pool of India got wiped out in Mahabharata just for a girl. Yeah, that's ironic reality, but it is what it is. So we can't do much about it. Is any company trying to go to space in Europe or China like SpaceX? Yes, in China, there is a company that is directly copying whatever the philosophy of SpaceX, which is like ironically very clever. Because here's the, if SpaceX is trying to do the booster capture from mid-air rather than doing landing legs, that simply means they have done far more mathematics that you can even try. And given the fact that they have already catched it once, and you're like, oh, they failed the second time, it does not matter. SpaceX track record is horrifyingly good. Meaning they made rocket landing boring. Let that be very clear. Rocket landing is boring now. And here's the deal. How many companies do that? One. How many rockets do that? One. So if SpaceX is doing something, Control C, Control V, the end, ain't nobody got time to waste. And that's why like Chinese companies directly, even the whole mesh looks like a copy paste from the SpaceX presentation. It's like they're not wasting time. They're like, dude, we figured it out. We just gotta look at you, and we're gonna Control C, Control V it. Now, does that mean they can have all the advantages? Not all, heck no, because I do not think that's how you can translate the engine technology. And be mindful, engine does come under ITER technology restrictions, so to say. So engines are very protected. However, in terms of philosophy, in terms of design, you can copy these things without any issue. And any governmental agency that is not doing it, they are cuckoo here. Let that be very clear. Because be mindful, the same thing could have been done with the moment Falcon 9 landed. But it's such a gimmick thing, it's not going to make any sense, and blah, 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 blah. And now it's like, by the time everybody catches up to booster landing, they will have a second stage reuse. And here's the deal, the way things are going, there is a very good chance in next 5 years, they can have a Starship just as a thing. It's like, hey, we have a Starship, man. We can just give us 100 ton, we can send it to low Earth orbit. And how much is gonna cost? Cheaper than the 20 ton or 30 ton to all other countries combined. It's like nobody will have anything. So that's like, yeah, you are claiming and they are doing. So my apologies. So it's a very significant jump. And be mindful, SpaceX already has a plan to retire Falcon 9. And I'm like, nobody has even caught up to Falcon 9. It's basically like, oh, some meme happened in my personal phone. I have a BSNL SIM, which is the governmental agency. It's giving the message, now we are switching to 4G. In Karnataka, basically my SIM is from different location. So it's like, we are now switching to 4G. Here's the deal. Everybody has already switched to 5G. Heck, my father's 4G SIM of Airtel stopped working. It bricked itself. And then he went to the Airtel shop and he's like, yeah, all 4G SIMs are now being deactivated if you are using them on a 5G phone. So he got he had to pay for a new 5G SIM. But again, numbers did not change, but he had to do. And that's how far ahead SpaceX is. It's like everybody's like, oh, we see what you're doing. He's like, bro, what you are seeing is ancient technology. We have something better, ready, sorted, done. So I do expect, like, here's the deal. Do I think other countries can make Starship? Yes. Do I think they can make Starship as powerful as like SpaceX? Hell no. But I do think they have one advantage, is that if you are cloning Starship, you are reducing the waste count, so to say. Meaning, you can finally say, hey, let's not waste energy on trying to refuel it. Let's just put a third stage. Let's say instead of doing deep space mission on like, okay, we're going to launch a second stage, refuel it, and then do deep space. It's like, hey, what if we deploy the payload, launch a kick stage, that is third stage, so to say, and directly went there. That is one very big money saving. Another aspect is all this design development where they're like, okay, we're going to do like, booster catching. They did not happen on day one. The original design was not this, so they had landing legs. You can see in Starship, they had landing legs, there was mechanism. So all that wasted effort is, poof. So there is a very good chance that if you are smart, if you are clever, if you have a competent team behind you, you can for less price make a Starship, but I do not think you will be able to have the same tonnage, but you would be on the same playing field. It's like, hey, we look like Starship, we have almost the same diameter as Starship, but we instead, again, engine, because engine they may not get the same oomph, but hey, we can give you like 50 ton to low Earth orbit, and we can do deep space mission far more logically compared to that. So there is a serious advantage in upgrading design philosophy. Will Chinese company follow the EU USB-C power delivery handshake law, considering their main focus in the Indian market? Yes. Yes, it's worldwide, it has been done. So right now the philosophy is that you're gonna have USB-C power delivery handshake as a default layer, and if you want to have your extra BS, it has to be on top of it. It will not be like, I just do not support it. That won't be there. So that part is sorted. And again, that's a good thing. And again, that also allows them to not have chargers in the box. So that has been sorted. I wish to become founder of another missionary religion, but can't find the basis of new religion. Please guide me. Can you help me with that? Yeah, no. Yeah, no. So that's a no. If a man says he's happy in his marriage and he's obviously lying because his wife is behind. Okay, why do I have two people name but have exact same DP? Is one person making two accounts? Really? I have like, let me screenshot this. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so I have David and Nisha. Both of them have exact same DP. So that's a weird thing. I believe we should get liberation in marriage, and I think charity begins at home. You should talk about with this your brother. See, those who have made that decision, it cannot be undone. So it's done. Like his deal, time does not flow backwards, and it's one of the most painful thing to accept. And his deal, it sounds like a meme, but it is factual. It's like time wasted. Regretting about the time wasted is more time wasted. So it's painful, but you have to accept it. And again, my whole philosophy is that you do you. Meaning, if you want to ask me, it's like, hey, what, is marriage a good idea? I will say no. Then you will ask me, what is my proof? I will say, go to family court near you. Other than that, nothing else. I will not take you, I will not talk you, I will not have an argument, nothing. Just go to family court near you. And if you think, no, I will not go, that's your life. And again, if something bad happens to you, you will remember that there was an individual who did give me a clear cut. Like, do this before you get married, and did not do it. So all the suffering will be your own, and believe it or not, having that will actually help you to heal. And then so hopefully you will not make the same mistake second time. What do you think you should do the future fuel for rocket? Can we after Project Orion type rocket propulsion? No, you're not gonna use nukes to go boom 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 boom. That's stupid. That's not happening. In terms of Starship, that's the whole design failure, where it's like they are refueling the second stage. That's the thing that is the most silly to me. It's like, dude, just deploy the payload, have a second rocket, just have the 100 or 150 tons of complete fully fueled third stage. That will do, like, that's the part that I do not get. It's like, what's this this what you call, almost like a facet, like almost what would be the correct word for it? What will be the almost infatuation? Nah, I think some different word would be needed for this. Craziness, yeah. This uncontrolled passion. I think that's the only word I can use to describe it precisely. This uncontrolled passion to use second stage to do third stage work. It's like, dude, there is a reason why we have third stage. Just accept it. Third stage cannot hurt you. I mean, like, did third stage touch Elon Musk? It's like, what the hell, man? It's like, heck, even space shuttle had third stage concepts. Not even concept, they actually launched it. I mean, like, have you ever wondered how the heck space shuttle is supposed to launch heavy satellites or like geostationary satellite? Again, third stage. Or again, you can call third stage kick stage also. So that was done. So I genuinely do not get it. It's like, if you are willing to launch 2 rockets, just dock the damn thing. It's like refuel. It's like, you do not need to. Again, refueling is cool and all, but you should build a dedicated space ferry for those sort of refueling requirements. Not just like, what if we had the same second stage and just forced it into a third stage role? That part I genuinely do not get. Genuinely. But again, I did not genuinely get SLS. To be fair, whole US government is like, yeah, no, this was stupid. So, do you think Russia might use small nuclear bomb after Biden allows Ukraine to? Yeah, no. He can use everything except nukes. And again, I do wish that to be true. Again, it could be wrong, but I do wish for it. So let that be clear. That's my personal desire, that thou shall not go nuclear boom boom boom. So that's my desire. Again, my hit or expectation is that no, he might use ICBMs, but nuke, no. Please change your electrical box, modular box, looking old, but all room is upgraded. OTP problem in your BSNL SIM? No, I do get a OTP problem with Amazon specifically. Specifically, if somebody else is using my Amazon to send me stuff, like not Amazon basically. If my brother sends something here and Amazon he uses, then I do not receive the OTP. That has been a problem. But other than that, any OTP that's supposed to happen on my own account, yeah, that happens properly without any issue. Why we are dependent on the government for C-Wave? Can't private companies also work on it? See, private companies can easily work on it, but they cannot justify it to their investor. It's like, oh, you are working on this project. What if government bans it? You see the problem? And again, even if you remove that banning part, because again, ban part is real. In Europe is very clear. It's like, we're gonna ban all hydrocarbons. So if any multinational company is looking into it, they're like, dude, what's the point? So that's the point. Second aspect, it is gonna take time. It's not gonna be like, okay, you start and you're gonna get a line go up in next year. It's gonna take a time. Like, that's why I'm saying it. Only government can do it. And again, that's why we build government, to do the long-term projects. Had an incident of same time of train, 35-year man being pressured by his mom for marriage. His reason was he did not trust caste. A wise man never trust a woman. Go to family court near you to see 4K Ultra HD proof of it. Do not listen to me, do not believe me. Just go to family court near you. And if you are in India, you are generally less than 100 kilometers away. If you are in USA, you are still less than 100 kilometers away. That's all right. You need a haircut, bro, or go clean shaven. Yeah, I am clean shaven, and haircut, do not worry about it. Go and do treatment. That's a bit extreme. See, I go more on monk mode, and other things sort itself. So that's there. So that's there. Don't have a hair, so no point for you doing haircut. Yeah, you can say that also. Yeah, so in terms of where was I? Yeah, Starship. Sorry, so to say, in Starship, the landing basically, and again, the precision of landing with Mark II engines is damn good. So next year they're gonna launch a Mark II variation, which is ready. Now I'm not sure whether they're gonna have Mark III engines, because people are not seeing enough of the hardware to be there. So there is a very good chance Mark III still needs a bit of, I think, IFT8 maybe. Maybe IFT9. I'm actually shocked why the heck it's so delayed. But there is that, because again, it would be far more economical if you directly upgraded two things. It's just like, you gonna upgrade them, just do both of them. So that's there. But again, it's gonna happen. But and I do expect them to have a second launch tower sorted by then, because again, you may want to have a system where you can, like, divert craft to second launch tower if first launch tower malfunctions. That could be a requirement. So that's there. And second launch tower is better because it has a the flame trench. It has flame trench. So my understanding of the situation is that that stupid idea of having a flat plate, it was more of a Elon Musk being in a hurry was that's my read of the situation, because again, there are 3 launch towers that SpaceX has built for Starship. And one of them, the first one, did not had a flame trench. It had a stupid flat plate. Now be mindful, just because you made a stupid thing work because of a lot of money, does not mean it was not stupid. It's still stupid. And so in second one, they have a giant trench dug there, and then they are building it. So most likely my understanding is that the licensing and permitting was taking so long, they were like, okay, let's just try the flat plate now, and we're gonna make it work to best of our ability. And by the time we have a working tower, that would be far more beneficial than having a perfect tower. So a working tower was higher priority, so they are like, okay, let's just flat plate it and use a high pressure water to suppress it. And in the second design, they are like, okay, now we have a proper trench, and that's why they are digging so much. And again, even in the Florida tower, you can see a trench being dug there. So my assumption is just that they needed a lot of paperwork to go through in order to have a trench dug there. So they rushed with a flat plate to get things sorted, and after that they're like, yeah, we get it, flat is stupid, let's have curves. So there is a very good chance they may use a second launch tower far more, because it will be far more far less destructive to its environment. So when I hear English, I understand more than what I read. Hold on. When I hear English, I understand more than when I read an English book. Why is this happening? Well, that simply means your literature muscle has not been flexed enough. Basically, if you are used to hearing English, your language part is exercising this puppy, not this puppy, this puppy. So if you read a lot, then this puppy will be stronger. It's just about practice. It's just about practice, man. Nothing more than that. It's just the more practice you do, the better you will get. There's nothing more than that. On another small things, I have finally decided to get into the world of making my own cat cables. This is a Cat 6 cable. Unfortunately, I could not afford Cat 6 shielded cable. Those puppies are expensive. But I did wanted to get into this. Now, I cannot tell you how frustrating it is after a certain age where you was like, yeah, if the cable is crappy, you just throw it away. You do not have time to deal with it. I had that experience with this cable. You have to know, this is a working cable, was working cable, and it was always very finicky, like always. Now I do have a lot of LAN cables, but all those cables are very small cable, and my network attached storage is a bit further away from the router, so I did needed a longer cable. But I cannot tell you how unreliable this was, and I think this was wired as a cross cable rather than a straight cable. And again, it was not made by me, it was just a bought complete cable. So I do not understand why it was like this, but again, maybe long back ago. So when I actually put this into tester like this, yes, I bought the whole kit. So originally I should have made a video for next week, but you guys will see it next week, because while the cable came on time, the kit, basically all this thing did not. So if you connect it like this and like this, so yeah, see, all the numbering did right now is going normally, like, you know, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, that's how it should be, but it was not doing the same thing on this cable. So I decided to basically chop the pre-made ends on it, like, hold on, yeah, I basically chopped off, and even the clips was broken, so I do not think it was too big of a loss, but I did chop it. As you can see, it was molded plastic, so I did chop it off and made a new system. And yes, it works, and it works in one go. I cannot tell you, like, when I basically installed that 3D printed cage, hard drive cage, I thought, oh, why it's not working, why it's not showing up in my computer. I was so scared until I realized, wait a minute, this cable was the problem. So I got the basically kit today, and today this was my first cable that I made, and yes, it works. So I'm very happy with this, and yes, I will make a video about it, because I think every nerd should know how to make these cables. And again, many times you may use this for CCTV in India also, but for those I do recommend get into a shielded cable, because yeah, otherwise, especially in analog, semi-analog cameras, they do pick up interference quite easily. So without having grounding, shielding on the cables, especially long wires, ooh, not recommended. So that was, that's a experience I had, so to say. Have you read Mahabharata? Yes. Not like, say, not Mahabharata, the original, the OG, that is like, you know, thousands of pages long, not that, like a school book variant of it. You can do intercom system and home system with Ethernet cable. Yes, although not recommended. And not to mention, my main issue right now is that now I can actually make the cables, and I have enough cable, is that I don't have enough ports. There are only 4 ports in that geofiber router. While I do have another port on top, but that's the problem, it's on top. Here I already have basically my computer, the Wi-Fi router that is on top, that is acting as a access point. So 2 of them are always occupied, so that gives me 2 more. So 1 would go into my basically network attached storage. Okay, cool, sorted. 1 left. Here's deal, would I put printer on there, or my hope is that I'm gonna design basically KVM. I've already made video on that. I do have a Orange Pi. Now I have enough wiring that I could try to make a KVM, because again, I do not like the idea of just going through USB-C capture card to see what's going on. So I do want a KVM, and again, it would be a good learning experience also. So I want to make a KVM, but here's the deal. Now my TV will not be connected by Ethernet, my printer will not be connected by Ethernet. So you see, the ports, basically I'm running out of the ports, and I looked into the price of getting a 2.5 Gbps Ethernet switch. Holy damn, those are expensive in India. And again, I do want that 2.5 gigahertz for my basically bridging between my main PC and NAS, because again, there I can utilize the 250 megabyte speed, but it is what it is. I got the same cable to see. Yeah, it's a very cheap normal stuff, and it does the job well. It does the job quite well. For the people who are on my Telegram group, they would have seen how this cable used to behave. Now it's a very logical. Although I think I should inject what you call hot glue into here, so it will act as a better strain relief, so to say. But it does work. It's a far better. So now you can see all are man-made, not man-made, as in like made by me, and voila. Tuck, 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 everything is working fine. And yes, there is a rating. After eighth number, there is G. That G is shielding, independent shielding. So if you are doing anything analog like CCTV cameras, you may want to invest into that. And again, that shielding also helps in sometimes, especially if you want high speed, like 10 Gbps or something like that. So more reliably, because again, if you use this cable for 10 Gbps, it could work, but problem is it may not be stable. It may, handshake goes down to 1 Gbps way too often. So for those sort of reason, you do want to have a cable that has much higher uptime. So investing into a thicker cable makes sense, or just jump into optical fiber. Sometimes I wonder Europeans and Americans have had black skin and African and white skin, would the scenario would be the same as today? More or less, it's the same thing as Egypt. Egypt had that, so it does not make a difference. Dude, we are not good. We are not that magical thing. It's not right now. It's a very in vogue, so to say, to hate whiteys, so to say. But it's not a logical thing to say, because again, everybody wants to enslave everybody else. So it's a boring thing. You may think that's a very clever idea. No, it's just boring. Right now, current in modern times, not even like 1,000 years ago or 3,000 years ago or times of the pyramids ago. Just in modern time, whiteys are on top. Like it changes. And again, it's one of those things where it's like it's not worth thinking as much as you would think. Sometimes I wonder if you have watched the video explaining electric fuel on which could only burn if the voltage applied, otherwise it won't, even if it's on fire. I do not know what you're talking about. And again, it does not sound like electric fuel. All it sounds like a fuel that is hard to ignite. So is there. I'm terrible with cables or soldering. Just buy or ask someone to do it for me. No, there is no soldering here. It's just a crimping. There is no hot wires. It's tedious. I'm not gonna deny it's tedious as hell, but it can be done. It can be done. Russia already won the war. Dude, I've been listening that for so long. It's boring. I'm just African but lighter than STT. Blame the British. Biden is missing because his arms lobby. Yeah, that you can go with that. Say. How easy feasible it is to add more capacity to an existing on-grid rooftop solar? See, adding more solar panel is not viable simply because if your inverter is the limiting factor, basically changing the inverter is the most easiest thing to do. It's the cheapest thing that you can change. Unless you have, because again, generally people buy things properly scaled. So if I'm buying, let's say, a 2 kilowatt system, I'm going to put a 2 kilowatt inverter, I'm going to put 2 kilowatt solar panels. So most likely you are limited by the quote unquote inverter. And sometimes, not all the time, let that be very clear, sometimes you can change the inverter, get much higher capacity while having the same battery and same panel input. So that's the one thing that you can increase without too much hassle. Venus can be our next. Right now, I have been doing some deep research into this and like some deep meditation, especially on the economics layer. Yeah, Mars is not happening. Moon barely. So realistically, humanity is to jump into, let's say, Mars or even Venus. Yeah, that likelihood of that is very negligible, so to say. Like maybe some mission, like just going coming back, but actually space-faring civilization level, yeah, that's because again, right now there is no need for it, so to say. Like there is no need driving it, and there is no finance driving it. So what is left? Because there is nothing you can make on Mars that is valuable enough to bring it. Because again, going into 0G environment, that's valuable. There you can make a lot of stuff. Where can you get to 0G? Just 100 kilometers above Earth surface. So I can see a lot of benefit of going into, let's say, low Earth orbit, making giant space station. And again, people are seeing economic case for that. And again, that's the whole point of orbital reef. That's why that space station is designed. Or another space station design that is done by, what is the company, Astra? No. That a space station that's gonna dock with ISS and gonna extend with it. So that's already under construction. So that's also there. And again, a lot of people are saying that SLS will be cancelled, which again, I had been saying that for, it's already in video. I've been saying that it will be cancelled. Question is how many times? Basically, will it be cancelled after 1 or 2 moon launch, or it will be like, yeah, this is too stupid. People are talking about the numbers and it's sad, It's really sad because once you realize that this puppy is almost $11 billion in, only had one partial launch, which again already showed a failure problem. Basically, the Orion capsule re-entered and like the heat shield did not perform as expected. So it's like nothing works. The rocket's upgrade is way behind. And again, it's 15-year-old project. It's not like, 1 year old. And we have Starship that is barely a few years old and is like, bro, I'm upgrading, bro. Me good, bro. Me good. And like, can you even imagine how far ahead SpaceX would be in 15 years? Like, and again, the money sunk into it is like on a whole different level. And people are saying even the tower that cost over an I always expected the Congress to at some point to cancel it, but I do expect 1 or 2 launch. But people are saying that it might just be like just too expensive. So that's there. Titan is better. See, nothing is better than Venus, but again, humans are not in a position to actually justify the oomph needed to actually leave Earth, like for enough people to leave Earth, so to say. Even after we had pushed back several invasion against India, again, they got better, they got stronger, and we lost eventually. So that's there. Have a video game reached their peak? If you have any significant benefit of buying expensive GPUs like 4,000 or 5,000? Not really. Like again, you should upgrade your GPU, but you do not need to be latest and greatest. Like let that be very clear. It's like you do not need 90 series or 80 series, like it's not necessary. You can just be like, and again, do try to buy be in recent cycles because updates are a big thing. And again, there are some times when you have a big jump, basically RTX and no RTX. Again, you may find it important, but it has slowly become important. So having RTX is a good thing now. But again, if you had, let's say, again, like me, I had 1070. Now I upgraded to 4070. So will I upgrade to 50? Say hell no. Even if I had money, I would not. Like there won't be any point. What about 50, 60? More likely 7000 series. There will be enough upgrades hopefully. Whereas like what? Now it's time to upgrade, so to say. Can you share a link for 1 kilowatt transformer-less inverter for LiPo battery with solar compatibility? Let me look into it. Let me look into it. I really wanted to see Space Planero come back 1 ton to Leo, have more potential today. Space plane. Okay. Yeah, space plane, there was only one company that was actually trying single stage to orbit that has already went bankrupt. So that's there. And other company is trying to do, but likelihood is very low. My money is not on space plane. I'll watch it from start when back to home. When to listen to your full concentration. Oh, cool. Thank you. Any type of iconic fuel that only... See, there is no fuel that ignites by electricity. It's just harder to ignite. And ignite by electricity means you just need a plasma. Basically, you need very high temperature to ignite it. You can ignite everything with electricity, everything. Only electricity? Yeah, that's not a valid scientific data point. It's like, no, only electricity should ignite. What the hell that means? Like for example, SR-71 needed a fuel that was very, very hard to ignite. Why? Because the shell temperature of the ship was so high. So they needed a fuel that was stable at 100 degrees Celsius, or I think 150, I think upper limit was. It could not self-ignite at that temperature. Now problem was, once they built the fuel mix that was that stable, how the heck you supposed to ignite it? There was no normal igniter that was working for the jet. So they had to use T-tap, exact same thing that was used by Falcon 9. To ignite their engine. So same thing had to be used. That's why whenever SR-71 started the engine, you will see that green flash, exactly like Falcon 9 engine. Again, it had T-taps. And the flying limitation was how many times they can have that T-tap shot. Now, I do expect modern electronics to have that enough oomph where it's just like, no, I'm gonna dump freaking megawatts into it. I'm gonna boil that puppy. I'm gonna ignite the hell out of it. But let's see. So it does not make sense. Like it sounds funny and all that, but it's like, it's nah. It's like, not really that viable. The whole planet is going to shrink population. Would it affect space stream? Absolutely. Absolutely. Although I think there is a bit of a bitter irony into this, that if Earth's situation keeps deteriorating, then we are more likely to go into space. It's like if we actually solved Earth, right? Let's say we solved global warming, we solved the political BS, we solved it, right? Like we solved Earth. Earth is now a good heaven. the need for like pushing outwards would be very low. And again, in expanse they have very serious, like there was so much overpopulation, which again right now current data is like yeah lol, no, that's not happening. But again, imagine if that did happen, that then it did had far more far more push, because again Earth life was so miserable. People were like, okay, let's try something actually hard, real world miserable. And then Mars became a thing. Then if enough people figured out how to do space travel enough, then it's like even Belter became a thing. So that part is true in the story, but right now you are well. I can easily see moon base to be thing, but somebody being born there and living their whole life in the moon without ever landing on Earth, yeah, that's no. On Mars, hell. Right now we are very what you call precarious situation, so to say, I would say. Yeah, so that's there. What about Europa Clipper? I'm unsure. By only luxury, I mean normal temperature as high of lighter. Small butane lighter. I did not get it. What you know? How to get into IT sector? Again, that IT sector means that you do not know what you're talking about. IT sector is an umbrella term. It does not mean anything. It's like saying doctor. Does not mean anything. What kind of doctor? Psychological doctor or like actual physiological doctor. What does that mean? Like you have to define it precisely. You cannot just say I want to be an artist. What kind of artist? Do you want to be an artist who paints a building? Do you want to be an artist who makes artworks for galleries? Do you want to be an artist who makes computer graphics like me, VFX artist and all that? So you have to lock it down. Like right now you say like stuff. It does not mean anything. You have to be very precise. What exactly in IT describes you? And if you're like, I do not know, that simply means you have not looked into it. You are just like blah, 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 blah. You have to be very precise. It's like, okay, I looked into IT. I think programming is my thing. Okay, look into that. Some people are like, you know what, it's the networking thing. The hardware, I really enjoy the hardware. You can look into the hardware. You could even look into the art part of it, like UI, artist and all that. So that's there. Can Starlink have as much of an impact in India as Geo did? No, not in India. In India, Starlink would barely make any difference. Again, it will help a lot of people, but it will not be like, whoa, like before Starlink, after Starlink. That won't be there. Like India has a before Geo and after Geo, but it will not have like before Starlink and after Starlink. Of course, a lot of people who are living in very remote areas, who are rich, who want to be like, you know, work from home and all that, like, of course, they will have a lot of benefit into that, you know, there is a demand for it, but I do not think there is enough. Although my biggest interest would be getting Wi-Fi on aeroplanes. That would be a biggest thing. Please look into my question. Don't you think 400 years of exploitation makes us weaker at genetic level? That's a known thing. That's not a new question. That's an ancient known science. It's like the last, like again, even in under what we call East India rule, India had enough famines, which is known, and one famine increases chance of sugar and diabetes and all that in your offspring. 20 famines as we did, yeah, that's permanently effed up. So that's a known thing. It's not a new thing. It's like, yeah, we know this. It's a known thing. Everyone pays tax in India. Where how to pay indirect tax, not in voting issue. For this, tax is not a voting issue. I do not understand what you're trying to infer, so I'm a bit confused. What you're trying to say. So Deepak, yeah, please look into the field that you want to talk about. Like, don't just say. And again, if you study computers, you actually spend time on it, then you will understand. It's like, hey, I want to look into the web world. I want to look into the coding. I want to look into the UI environment of it, or I want to make a video games. So you cannot just say IT sector. Again, if people are telling, oh, I work in IT sector, they are assuming you're dumb. Otherwise, they will tell you, it's like, yeah, see, I work in logistics, I work in automation, I work in, like, you know, back end, I work in the front end. So that's the whole thing. Now, my expectation would, damn, my apologies, it's like, it's been rough. I'm sorry. It's been rough, man. I had not slept properly for like freaking past 3 times. Damn. I am not comfortable. I've already talked about everything. I think he is talking about GST, as in direct tax to everyone pays. Yeah, it is what it is. See, India has a really messed up geopolitics, so to say. Like, that's there. Either may choose 3D game artist earlier. What made you choose 3D game? I always wanted to be an artist. Like, since a childhood, I wanted to be, like, first time I understood about computer and all that is class 7 and 8. By class 8, I think I got into Brainware. I do not know whether they are still here or not. The Brainware is basically a small coaching center, so to say, where you can learn about computer. I learned there. So there I learned it to like Office, MS Word, because again, I did not have computer in class 8. I got computer after clearing board. So class 8, I did that. And then I was like, okay, I want to be in multimedia. Then I was like, okay, I want to be in 3D. Then I was like, okay, slowly I was evolving. This is from class 8. So class 8, multimedia. After class 10, okay, I want to be in 3D. By class 12, I want to be 3D game artist. So by that time, I figured out there was a ad for AIGA in Chip magazine. So I contacted them. They were in Bangalore. I went there, studied there. Then I got into that job. So please share link. Okay, let me just right now look into it. Amazon. Okay. Solar inverter. Solar inverter 1 kilowatt. You want transformer less. That's the whole thing. You want transformer less. I expect you are not looking for grid tie, because again that will be very expensive. Lithium ion. Lithium ion. So there are only few brands, so that's there's this brand Galaxy Online. Okay, that's a weird name. That's a weird name. What were they thinking when they came up with the lithium battery? Damn. Muscle grid. That's what I was looking for. Muscle grid. Muscle grid has good combo deals. Let me see. Muscle grid. You can look into this company. I have uploaded. I'm looking for Amazon. Do they have stuff in Amazon? Yeah, they have in Amazon. Oh, I think the smallest inverter they have, which is 4.2 kilowatt. So it's a bit big, but you will get what you are looking for. They have a 3 kilowatt solar setup, 1,20,000, and it has battery, panels, and transformerless inverter. Basically, all in one package. For 3 sold in last 15 hours. I doubt it, but sorry about that. I want grid tie. Yeah, that has grid tie. That has grid tie. Okay. Yep. Yep. Okay. I want grid tie. Yeah. Go into muscle grid. That's the only brand I know that has some chances of actually working. My apologies, man. Like, life is like trying to beat the living shit out of me, and I'm like, dude, I already have a court case. Don't need more stuff. It's boring. It's like, your life becomes so miserable. It's like, bro, what more misery you want to add? It's like, it's boring now. It's like, more suffering. It's like, why? It's like, how about give me joy? Like, how about give me joy? It's like, something. It's funny that if you want to blow up, there's no law in any country against it, because nobody has the power to do so. That's the whole point. Nobody has the power to do so. And another aspect, let's say the America and Russia, they have the power to actually blow up the earth. Who the hell is gonna stop them? Like, you need a bigger stick to, like, suppress someone. So who is the biggest stick? You already have a stick that blows up the planet. That's why mutually assured destruction works. It's like, yeah, we both have sticks, man, but we have only one planet. So that's the reality of the situation. My Hmm. 48 volts. Indian to me with take genetic advantage for future offsprings. I think there is some sort of repopulation effort going on in Russia, because again they have slaughtered way too much of their male population, not like a little bit, like a lot, like a lot kind of, like way too many, like ludicrously large amount of male population has been poofed. So it is gonna have an effect. So you may be onto something, God. Or taking your exam and testing your strength to stay alive. Dude, I'm on my last, last reason, so to say. At this point, I'm about to quit it, so to say. I'm not gonna lie, like, it's like, I'm done, man. Like, I'm freaking 32 years old, and it's like, did not become rich. Damn. Sometimes it's very hard to realize, like, you are 32 years old, have a crippled body. Again, not because of something else, because of my own stupidity. How much stupidity I did in my first job. I actually went to office on Saturdays, man. On Sundays, I did not have to, because I was such a stupid person. But it is what it is, like, it is what it is. So I'm damn honest when it's like I'm saying this. It's like I'm almost reached to my upper limit. Although, yeah, I think muscle grade should be the system that I was looking for. I used to do a 3D game artist job. Now I'm full-time YouTuber. I know, not the most smartest thing, but again, if I were smart, I would be rich. I'm not rich, so that's there. That's why, like, I find it funny when people say Trump is stupid. I'm like, bro. The reason why the whole Republicans and Democrats hate him is simply because he is not controllable. Like, he did not have, like, vote donors and all that. He has his own. Like, see how much money it took Kamala Harris in this election. It's almost $1 billion plus, and then also she lost, and he's just like, this is mine. So fundamentally speaking, why SpaceX didn't catch the booster? Did you not watch the stream? I think just rewind it. The problem was there was some issue with the tower, so tower did not give the go ahead, and then it failed. There was issue with the tower, that most likely the GPS antenna they have on the tower malfunctioned, so they had that. Russia inviting Indian man to come and get married and settle in Russia. Would you wanna go? Hell no, it's a cold place. I'll be sick most of the time. And at this point in time, I'm too old, man. Like, see, right now there is a tiny probability I might have to go to freaking high court and all that. So that is really, really taxing. See, I do not even know when was the last time I had clarity here, where it's like, okay, just think through things. And it's like, basically I'm tired. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that part. I'm just tired. It's like I'm bloody fed up with the life. I did not, it's all my fault. Let that be very clear. It's my fault. I did not do enough. I was not wise enough. I was not smart enough. I did not become a doctor or engineer. So I was not smart. And again, as a 3D game artist, again, I also was not the best, the brightest there. So I was okay and average. And I did had a job, second job, but I did not pick it. I decided I'll do YouTube, which again, in some regards, it was a good decision. In some regards, court case. So I'm not sure why. There is times, I'm not gonna deny, there are times where I'm just like, what's the point of suffering now? It's like I've crossed the threshold where it's like, because again, I am not that childish where it's like, I do not want suffering. It's like, suffering is part of life. It's just that, is it worth or not? I no longer can see it worth. And again, there was one gentleman in US media that said something very profound. It's like, Americans are in a hurry going nowhere. And I kind of starting to feel it. It's like how Americans are feeling like, it's like, they are working their ass off 24/7 and they have no money. They cannot buy a house. They cannot even dream about upgrading their financial stature, and one bad medical case and they're like, they will be dead. So it's like, I'm starting to understand it. So do a video about generative games. Please give some example of what exactly you're talking about. I need a bit more context. Again, I have not looked into gaming for past 6 years. It's my old life, my man. It's my old life. I used to be a game artist, worked in Sony PlayStation, Sony Spider-Man 4, I think the game name was, and then worked in Halo, Forza. There is one Forza game that has my name. I just forgot the number. Is the time limit exceeded? Not yet. I think it will be at the 1st December. I think that would be the time exceeding period. Again, it's truly frustrating, It's just it's like, I understand, like when people say like you do need hope. Like, I no longer have hope. It's very hopeless, so to say. But we'll see. I have survived so far, so let's see what's up next. If more suffering, then I'm out. Then I'm like no. And again, the big judgment is on 3rd week of December when I'm in hospital. So we'll see why the hell my leg is not working anymore. So again, my leg is working, it's just that hamstring has been so painful. My brother thinks it's because my slip disc may be pinched more, which again is horrifying, because again, I've been trying to do my best to take care of it. If it's still degraded, so that's there. Just bilkul Ankit Singh, I am unable to read what exactly is like. Do you feel discomfort, sympathy from bad air quality? Dude, I live in a very small town, so air quality here is reasonably good. Sir, do you think if you had family make you not desperate? No, that will make me poof myself. In India, there is average is 1,20,000 men per year. So yeah, no, that only makes you far more miserable. See, if things are going well, it's one of those things, it's like fair weather friends. Families are like what we classify as fair weather friends. If things are good, they're awesome. If things are bad, they will make you feel worse. Like imagine it this way. Again, I do not blame it. It's like imagine if you have a child and then you are like, no longer making money as you used to. Would you take him out of the school? So it's one of those things. We just tell that ourselves, but again, that's a trapping. And I rather not have that level of trapping. Whereas like, again, Joe Rogan was also talking about this. It's like, the quiet, what do you call? That was a very amazing word he used. I forgot what it was like. In Omega, you can make an arrangement before how property will get divided, but this is not legal in India. First, no, it's not illegally in America also. It depends on your basically what we call lawyer. If your lawyer is smart enough, they can overthrow alimony. Again, not all states recommend it, and be mindful that has no effect on your child. So your child, if they cannot get alimony, they will destroy you by child. Again, women will not marry if prenup was actually useful. Like, why do you think women marry? It's money. If you remove the money, there is no reason to get married. Audio very good. That's a weird thing to say. Generally, people only say audio when it's not working. But again, it's a Rode Wireless Go 2. So it should be good. So how do you fight with the stress and burnout? See, I do enjoy my work. The only reason right now I'm like so burnt out is simply because too many things are failing too quickly. Basically, I have the stress of high court right now. My legs are not working. And again, that is the biggest hurdle right now, because why I have not been able to do one video per day? Because I could not sit in a chair, and I was like, okay, what if I stand? And again, my ankle starts to hurt. So my physical body is my biggest limitation right now. It's not my mental aptitude. Like somehow this part is working. It's just that everything else below it is not working. So, and again, I was like, okay, what if I sit? Okay, that's not a good. What if I stand? Okay, now my ankles are like, no. And I used to walk like on flyover. Again, I still do walk, but I thought it's like, what if I do 2 rounds rather than just 1 round? Okay, now my legs started. Basically, my body is like, I do not want to work. No matter how much I push it, it's like, no, now you go to hospital. So that part is the only frustrating part. It's like my body is like, what if you died? I'm like, which is, yeah, like almost pushed me to my limit, and I've lived long enough, man. I've lived long enough. I've done everything. I have court case. It's like I'm good. I'm ready to go. So it's like at this point, if my body is like, here's another attack. I'm like, if somebody is like, okay, you have cancer and all that, I'm like, okay, I'm out. I'm out. I'm tired. I'm like, I'm fed up. I'm fed up. It's like if my body is like, you cannot have a good healthy life, I'm like, I'm out. It's like, at least give me that. So generative game that don't use regular engine data from the game and train create video output based on the inputs was some. See, you are talking about AI based game. That's not ready yet, not for prime time, for a very long time. And again, you may not even want that. You want an artistic interpretation. That's why we do not have a movie that is in 360. You always want a movie where artist has a exact direction where they want you to look and all that. So you may not want that. Okay guys, this has been a very heavy and a very interesting live stream. I will see you guys again on Saturday. Do you think Nvidia will be able to overtake Apple in the next 5 years? I think they have already overtaken, haven't they? Anyway, I do not expect that in long term, because I do not see the companies that are not in public use to be very high value. Because again, stock market is about value, not about the actual stuff, so to say. Anyway, I will see you guys in next week. Bye.